world's most expensive and extravagant party. A celebration that shattered every record of wasteful spending. A party like this had never been seen before, and after it, no one ever dared to attempt something so costly again. It featured the finest cuisines, luxury drinks, five-star accommodations, European decorations, and, most importantly, the most powerful guests on Earth. From emperors to kings, from presidents to prime ministers, heads of state from 65 countries attended. But this grand party was not held in a seven-star hotel. It was staged in the middle of a barren desert. Yes, and for just 3 days of celebration, the face of the desert was transformed overnight. This is the story of a party the world had never seen before, and it was not hosted by an Arab prince, nor a billionaire tycoon. This was the party of the King of Iran, Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. Back in the late 1960s, Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi was not just the ruler of Iran. He was known as the King of Kings, perhaps the richest man in the world, and certainly the most powerful man in his country. He had so much authority that with a single order, he could dismiss his prime minister, declare war, or issue death sentences. His feared secret police often abducted people from their homes, many of whom disappeared forever or were executed overnight. In Iran, even whispering a word against the Shah could mean death. Whatever he said became law. The Shah lived in unimaginable luxury, but his people lived in poverty. Half the population struggled for food, water, medical care, and education. Yet nobody dared to raise their voice. Still, the Shah wanted the world to see Iran as a shining modern empire, so he decided to host a party that would prove Iran's greatness, inviting kings, sheikhs, presidents, and prime ministers from across the globe. What he didn't realize was that this very party would plant the seed of his downfall. Preparations began a year in advance. Invitations were sent to world leaders, but there was a major problem. Iran had no hotels or infrastructure capable of hosting such elite guests. So the Shah made a shocking decision. The party would be held in a desert. Yes, a desert filled with nothing but dust, snakes, and scorpions. The first step was drastic. Chemicals were sprayed to clear out snakes and scorpions. Some rare species were even discovered, creatures never documented before. Then came something even more outrageous. The Shah ordered thousands of tons of soil to be laid over barren sand, just so he could build a man-made forest. Iran was already suffering from water shortages, yet the Shah imported thousands of trees and plants to be planted in the desert. But that wasn't enough. He wanted the desert to sing with life, so he imported 50,000 songbirds from Europe, releasing them into this artificial forest. Most of them died before the event began, because in the end, it was still a desert. Meanwhile, the Shah ordered 50 luxury air-conditioned suites to be built in Paris, dismantled, and shipped piece by piece to Iran, where they were reassembled in the desert. Each suite had bedrooms, lounges, kitchens, and was serviced by a full staff available day and night. The barren desert was suddenly filled with perfumed gardens, golf courses, luxury villas, and silk tents. And all of this for just 3 days. But there was more. A new highway was constructed to transport goods, and even a special airfield was built. For food, the Shah brought in the world's most famous restaurant, Maxim's of Paris. They closed their Paris location for weeks and sent their top chefs and waiters to Iran. Every single ingredient, down to eggs and spices, was flown in from France. 18 tons of food were imported, including 250,000 eggs and 2,700 kilos of meat. And for drinks, 12 tons of the world's finest wine. But the ultimate shock? Even the ice cubes were flown in from Paris. Security was just as extreme. 6,500 soldiers guarded the area. Checkpoints were set up every 100 meters, and Iran was effectively put under lockdown. Those who dared to protest were jailed before the event began. Finally, the day arrived. October 12, 1971. Special planes brought in royal guests. 250 bulletproof limousines carried them to the desert's new royal city. 65 heads of state attended, 6 kings, dozens of presidents and prime ministers. The barren desert of Persepolis now glittered with the most powerful people on earth. For 3 days they feasted on endless banquets, watched parades, and lived in unimaginable luxury. By the end, estimates said the Shah had spent over $100 million, the equivalent of billions today. The international press gave it massive coverage. At first, they praised the spectacle, but soon the tone changed. The headlines turned bitter. A Feast of Folly annoyed the world's most expensive party. The Shah had wanted glory. Instead, he became a symbol of arrogance and waste. For ordinary Iranians, who lacked schools, hospitals, and clean water, the party was an insult. Anger boiled. By 1978, revolution swept the country. Ayatollah Khomeini returned from exile. The monarchy collapsed, and the Shah fled for his life. The man who once called himself the King of Kings died in exile a year later, and with him, the Pahlavi dynasty was gone forever. All because of one party, the most expensive party in history, that ended up destroying its own host.